Going live today. Hello, everybody.
Put you out then.
Yes, that was a bit quick tonight. And a very good evening to everybody watching us, whether you're joining us live tonight or watching us up and catch up in the future. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great delight. Some of my favorite friends with me tonight. Going over to Denmark, we have the beautiful Lola.
Ooh, thank you.
Lola's the one with the long hair, although they got the names the wrong way round. And then we have the wonderful Jack. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. And all the way over to Brandscore. Not too far from us down here in Poole. We have the wonderful Mark Stone. Mark, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. You?
Excellent, 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 excellent. So we're having a little chat tonight. We're talking about, if anybody is not aware, number one, where have you been for the last few weeks? Because you obviously haven't been online. We are having this is Spiritualism Rally down here in sunny Poole. We have a full weekend of events coming up with a gala demonstration of mediumship. So we do have lovely Lola and Jack and Mark. In addition, we also have our guests from the other week, Frederick Hagland from Sweden and Ewan Irvin from Edinburgh. Yeah. So we're all together for this weekend. We're all together and just exploring different facets, different sides, and presenting, spiritualism to people in a way outside of a demonstration or a divine service, but in a much more interactive forum with Q&As, demonstrations. Mark will be doing a demonstration of trance mediumship, which is always a delight to host. So a couple of workshops going on as well. So yeah, busy weekend. Why do I plan these things? I have no idea. I need a life. I need a hobby. I need another cat, actually.
Stop with single.
Lola, what are you looking forward to out of this weekend?
Oh, just learning, demonstrating, meeting, meeting friends. Just to be within the whole thing. Yeah.
Brilliant. Jack, you look really comfortable there, Jack. Have you been told off? You look.
Well, what I'm looking forward to first of all, so I believe we all are meeting old as well as new friends. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to just these 4 days with being within that energy of spiritualism. Looking forward to hear. One thing is looking forward to demonstrate myself, to do my own talk and things, but not at least listen to the other speakers that there is during that weekend, where we can all learn from each other. So first time attending, it's in the church, but we have followed it online, the parts of it that have been streamed and early on, and it's just been fabulous. It's been such a learning experience, such an inspiration. So I'm really looking forward to be a part of it this year.
Brilliant. And what about you, lovely Mark?
Well, I will echo what they've said, so I won't repeat exactly what they've said because I agree with everything. I mean, one of the things for me, and when we had the original discussion before the rally was first put together, was the idea of sharing the knowledge so that people understand a lot more about spiritualism beyond mediumship. And for me, what I absolutely adore about these weekends is that sharing of knowledge, but also the fact that people that are coming will hopefully not just come on their own, but they'll bring someone else who's interested, and it could open up the doorway for someone else to start exploring what spiritualism and mediumship and healing is to them.
Yeah,
Exciting.
definitely. It is. Wonderful, Reverend Ashley. Good evening, darling. Yes, we did see the lights last night, but I've watched far too many science fiction films. I'm afraid I did hide away in a lead-lined box just in case. But yes, it is a great lineup. Thank you for saying that, Ashley. But yeah, I started this here in Poole 3 years ago, and at the time it seemed like a good idea. But it was because there is so much more spiritualism has got to offer. And I think it's pretty much a generally accepted thing that we're not seeing the other facets of spiritualism demonstrated, talked about, engaged with as often as we would like. And it's no wonder that the public's perception of spiritualism is somebody stood up on a platform saying, I've got your mother here, and that's it. But when we start delving into the rich history of our movement, the philosophy, the healing, the inspirational side, and I was very, very taken by, share a couple of slides here. As the title says, this is a spiritualism rally from the past in 1948. And that's the Albert Hall, all levels, absolutely rammed out with people. Yes, there were demonstrations of what we call evidential mediumship, but the majority of the day was just people talking, discussing, debating, coming together in this physical arena. I mean, we are really fortunate in these times that we've got the ability to do nights such as this and reach out everywhere. But sometimes you just want that physical gathering. You really want to, and as Jack said, and it's very true, when we're all working together for that set period of time, the presence of spirit is so strong. It is. It really is strong because the spirit world want to join in. They love it, these get-togethers. So absolutely beautiful time. We have another slide here. Thank you, Shutterstock. Let's give credit. But again, from the spiritualism rally, and that's Estelle Roberts demonstrating. I mean, just look at the people there. It's absolutely a wonderful. And they haven't all bought a ticket to go along and see a demonstration of mediumship. They've bought tickets and travelled from up and down the country to be together, to share experiences with people who've all got that one common bond. We either are or we are interested in our spiritualism and carrying that forward, and how we can present that to people, how we can immerse people. Because I always say, please stop me talking, anybody. I always say that spiritualism is an experience, and that's something that has been overlooked. It's become a little bit, you've got the medium up there demming and the person sat there watching. And we're lacking that empathy, that connection, that immersing ourselves into that environment. I mean, Mark and myself demonstrated together last weekend, and the atmosphere was electric, and it was fun, and it was poignant, and it was all the things it should be, because we both understand, as do Jack, as does Lola, as does Ewan, as does Frederick. You experience spiritualism. When we hear secondhand stories of things, we go, there.
I think the secondhand stories of spiritualism are important because it's our living history. Yeah. Because although we do have books on the history of mediumship, as you said, it's an experience. And often it's through our teachers, mentors, people that we've sat with who talk about their wonderful experiences. And some of these are not written down. They're things that have just been passed on word of mouth. And I think that there's an inspirational side to those things that are the fascination. I loved listening to Eric Hatton, known as Mr. Spiritualism, because he just knew everything. And he came and sat with myself and Glyn and some other mediums and talked for a whole day about his experiences. And literally the way he was able to recount sitting with the wonderful physical medium Alec Harris, we were almost able to see through his eyes an experience that none of us will be able to have had with that medium. But he was able to share it in such a way, it was remarkable. So I think there is part of us that is a living history and an oral tradition as well, which is important to share.
Yeah, no, it's very true. What's your thoughts, Jack and Lola?
Well, no, yeah, but I think we have to remember we are still creating a history today.
Absolutely.
We're still creating history today, and this rally coming up in 4 weeks' time here of 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. Please try and remember.
Yes. I believe that is creating history as well as all the old mediums, all the old speakers did. We are in a more modern community. This time it's more an international. We have us from Denmark. We have Frederick from Sweden, and we don't have the history. We don't have the traditions the same way as you have in UK. So for myself, my way into spiritualism has been slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that brought me into spiritualism was healing. Then I met the evidential mediumship and realized the healing that can be in that evidential mediumship as well. And with that, the philosophy within it. And what made me fall in love with spiritualism was there was a room for me.
Oh.
Because there's not one truth.
Lovely.
There's their truth and there's mine truth. And talking about these talks that I've been doing over the years, it's other Mark mentioned about others' experiences. We often talk about reading a lot of books. I haven't read a lot of books. I've started on many books. I've read 1 or 2 chapters and I'm just like, but this is somebody else's experience. I need to exploit myself.
Yes.
I need to exploit myself. And Lola says yes, she has a little bit the same. So I think sometimes as you mentioned, Lawrence, the new modern way to reach out through the internet and things and being online creates new opportunities to reach out to people. But we must remember to get together.
Yeah.
Mustn't remember to get together, to share, to experience, and not only have our own experiences, but also have common experiences that I'm sure we will have many of through these 4 days.
Very true. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. But it is this wonderful opportunity to show the lesser seen face of spiritualism, which is a shame that we don't encourage that more at times. I know recently there was a wonderful evening of philosophy that was attended by one person. And it really does sort of like break your heart when you hear that. You just think that is such a shame, because the message is, to me, the message is like the sprinkle on top of the cake. It's that alluring part. It's that part that you see first of all, and engages the mind, engages the eye, engages the taste buds. But then you get into the cake. Why am I talking about cake? I have no idea. Obviously, I need cake. But then you really get into it. And as I say, you know, spiritualism is my life. And it's my greatest passion. And you want to share that with people. We can't force it on people, sadly. The judge has told me I'm not allowed to do that anymore. But we want to share that with people, to see people start to... We're all teachers here tonight. And I'm sure I speak for all of us, and correct me if I'm wrong. That moment when the student goes, "Oh, got it," is, you know, that is it, isn't it? In teaching, that is it. When you just get that one student to go, "Oh, yeah, I got it now," and you think, "Yes, that's worked."
Oh. The light bulb moment.
Yeah,
very much.
Yeah, and I agree. As teacher, through many years of teaching now, that moment, that wow moment, that when the student has them, it's like I had it many years ago. I can't have it again, but I can experience it through the students. But at the same time, the other students can share that moment with them as well, and say, "Wow, they had a wow. I want to have that as well."
Yeah,
you know. And I know when we're working together on platform and things like that, I have often experienced over the years when I've been sharing the platform, standing with good mediums, and they're bringing up these brilliant evidence where I think, wow, that's really good. I want to do that. I really need to step up now and just empower me and inspire me to go further within my religion mediumship, but not only within the mediumship, but also within the philosophy. Because it's when I hear a lovely address or a lovely talk or something like that, it's like, wow, some people are just brilliant speakers, aren't they? Mark is one of them. I enjoy to listen to. Don't blush, Mark, but you are.
I think that's the sun. I think people, I think I'm seeing this not hugely, but a lot when you talk about the philosophy, Lawrence. I find that a lot of students, when you start to talk about the idea of looking at spiritualist philosophy, I think they equate philosophy with intellect and being very brainy and scholarly. Where I think when you start to explain and break it down to people that part of their journey, part of the inspiration of the other world, part of what they've learned along the journey becomes the philosophy. And actually, it's the love of understanding, the love of knowledge, not actually having to be necessarily the most well-read or the most well-schooled. And some of the, again, looking into our past, some of the greatest speakers were not educated people. Some of them were, when you look at the history of Andrew Jackson Davies, when he first started to work and speak, he wasn't very literate at all. And through his work with the spirit world, greater and greater knowledge and wisdom came through him. So I think there's this shying away. A lot of people are interested in the development of mediumship, the faculty. But the minute you start mentioning philosophy to people, I think the use of the term, unless we explain it to them, sometimes frightens them off, and they avoid it so dramatically, which is such a shame, because it's, as you say, it's the message that everyone gets to take home, that can touch everyone in the room, online, wherever they are.
Indeed. I always remember when I was told by one of my tutors that I need to go out and work on my philosophy. Well, I'm going out, and every book that had philosophy in the title, I'm grabbing it and going, well, I either went, well, this is rubbish, can't get along with this, or I don't understand this. And it did take me 2 years for the penny to drop to go, yeah, this is your philosophy. This is, where you are, and this growth, this personal development, which is what it's all about.
Yes.
We're here willing workers for the spirit world, but guess what, folks? We have a journey as well. We have a duty to our own spirit to ensure that growth. And when we have weekends like this, and it's so, you know, I'm not going to go down the negative road because it would be far too easy. But when you see a lot of mediums battling each other and, you know, the comments, and then we can present a weekend like this where we're all together, we're all working for the same goal. And that's the key. We're all working together. And each of us want to see the other one shine. Each of us. It was beautiful last year with the actual rally itself on the Sunday with the talks that we had, the sort of like the staging area out the back, but everybody came and sat in the front and watched each other talk because they wanted to hear and go, oh, I like that, and oh yeah, that's, you know, and it was great, absolutely great. So I know it's going to be the same this year. Very quick hello to a few people. Lovely Gail, good evening, my darling. I hope so well. Cat Twig, good evening. Mr. Bucknell, good evening, sir. And saluti from Florence. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Belinda, for joining us. So, yeah, it's nearly here. I don't know if this is a factor of today's world, but, you know, things seem like miles away, and then suddenly it's there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Suddenly it's we're like, oh, 13 more sleeps, and here we go.
Yeah. It's lovely.
So, as I say, sorry, go on. You going to say something, Jack?
No, I was just breathing.
Would you mind not, please? I says, well, 2 weeks today, we will have the real privilege, and I do mean this, the real privilege of watching Mark with his trance mediumship. I've said this to you, and I always say this about you, Mark. Your trance is sublime. It's beautiful.
Actually.
It really is. The whole atmosphere changes. And again, this is what I talk to people about, the experience. A really common thing that happens in a well-versed trance dem, and people are not told to do this, but they just do it naturally. They shut their eyes. And I always find that fascinating, that people just shut their eyes and they're really taking it in, because it is, the whole energy of the room changes, the whole essence of everything changes. And again, as I say, it supports this, you know, we want to promote this experience with people, because an experience will stick.
A lot of people, we often find, will get drawn into the energy, and often do go, they go, well, I wasn't asleep, I just got my eyes closed, but I was just in there with it. And it's that lovely way that that energy and that power, as it's moving in the room, is touching and affecting everyone, and sometimes in ways that they're not always consciously aware of, that things are affecting them. Are, you know, often my friend in the spirit will always say, you know, we're going to bring healing into this as well. So even when you're listening, that healing is taking place in that power as well. And you know, we have the lovely experience every time that we always say to people, you know, just put out your thoughts to the other world, put your question out there. You may get the chance to ask it physically, but often the other world will answer it before you've had the time to physically ask it.
Yeah.
And one lady came up after one demonstration and she said, I'm so upset. And I said, why? What's the matter? And she said, I had 5 questions in a row answered before I got the chance to ask. And I said, well, that's wonderful. And she said, well, all I wanted to do was say hello and have a chat to him. And I said, well, you should just said, you've answered all the questions, but I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah.
You know, so it's lovely that there is that intelligence that shows the other world are listening and hearing. And hopefully what I hope that shows people is that when they are in their quiet at home, that they know the other world hears them. Because if they hear them and they can see that they send out a thought, the other world responds through the trance, that then they know that the other world are hearing their thoughts and prayers at home.
Yeah, very true. Another quick hello, lovely Sandra, who's up in Welsh Wales at the moment. Good evening, Sandra.
Lucky da.
Yes, we are, Boyle. But yeah, it is. It's times like this when we all get together, and you just said a very key word there, and it's something that thankfully is being explored and talked about and promoted more, is the intelligence of the spirit world. And in our teachings as well with students on whatever level, this raise. I was talking to my circle the other night, and some of them were struggling. I said, why are you struggling? Why are you putting this pressure on yourself? You are talking to people who have lived a life. They are like an encyclopedia. Your job is to start reading from that, because they have had so many experiences. So don't stop yourself at one or two. Describe your life in 4 sentences, glib. I said, really get into that story. But it's amazing as well, as I say, the intelligence of the spirit world, because when we're setting tasks, when we're teaching, when we're demonstrating, there's already that link going on. There's already that understanding wavering to and from. I've had a thing going around in my head, as I do, and I'm just fascinated how long before, say, a dem, is the spirit world starting to make their influence felt? Fascinating question, because I think it can be anything up to a week, if not longer, beforehand.
Whenever your mind touches on a demonstration or a reading, I used to have it years ago when I used to do readings. The minute that I'd taken a booking, I would already I'd suddenly have an awareness of a communicator and go, that's lovely, but this is 6 weeks time. So nice to know you're going to turn up. Don't tell me anything now, because I've got a head like a sieve and it's 6 weeks away.
Yeah. What do you think, Lola?
Yes, as Mark said, sometimes long before demonstrations or they just come and you just no, and I'm so curious. So I keep drawing them in. So what are we working with? What did you do? Oh, come on, go away. No, and everything you touch, everything you think, everything you do will be in the energy of the spirit you're with, and you can't remember it all, so you just have to go away. But yeah, it's very, very lovely, and you get so inspired of your work. Yeah, it's very, very nice, but you really do have to be disciplined as well and say the office time is not now. Yeah.
See, Belinda's agreeing there. She was saying she had spirit present 2 weeks before the recipient came for a reading. And actually, Mark, I just like something you said there, just made something click in my little befuddled mind. Yeah, cool. Where thought goes, energy follows. So yeah, I was thinking I'm doing a service tomorrow night. And I was thinking of that, and there was a contacted, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Not yet, Neddy. Wait.
Everything's already in hand. That's what I always say to students, that even if you don't feel like you always know what you're doing, remember that the other world have got this.
Yeah.
And that when you go in, they already know you're doing a service. It's like when students say, what happens if I stand up and no one's there? I said, it's the biggest joke in history. Is there anyone in there? Is there anybody there? Because there's more people there than here.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. So long as you don't stress yourself out, get in your own head, and then become sort of like mentally locked up with trying rather than just allowing the other world to come and do and work with you.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Yeah.
Another quick couple of hellos. John Pugsley, good evening, sir. Loving the doggy pit. And Leslie Thomas, hello, darling. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's so close. It's going to be so wonderful. All our people out there in the virtual world, some of the weekend will be streamed. We have on the Sunday, that's the the heavy duty day for the mediums. I do apologise in advance.
I love Sunday. I love the Sunday day.
But we'll be starting off with a divine service, a specially extended one, starting at 10 a.m. until 11:30. And then at 12, we start the talks, and all those will be streamed. So it's a bit of a marathon day, but we will split the talks down afterwards into the relevant speakers to make it easier to access. The workshops, they won't be streamed. The evening dem of mediumship, again, won't be streamed because it's not going to be an interactive. It's not where, and unfortunately, if you do stream something like that, some people just jump into it and go, oh, you're with me. No, we're not, because we're not working with you online, so we can't be, so go away. Go and haunt somewhere else. But there will be the opportunities for people to join in, because we've got people coming down from the Outer Hebrides for this. I mean, how did that happen? So you better be good. Come back, Lola.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it will be good. But again, it just brings in this thing about, at the end of the day, we have the odd comments about different affiliations within spiritualism, different, branches of. And I just take this view. At the end of the day, we're all spiritualists. And do you know what? If we can't get on, then maybe we need to go back to school a bit, because what is it all about? Is it about me being the better medium? Is it about me being the better philosopher? No, it damn well isn't. It's about working together.
Yeah, exactly.
And in that beautiful energy. And also there is a little bit of competitive, but not in a negative way. But there is, Jack was saying earlier, it's wonderful to see, when you're demonstrating with somebody. This is probably me, and I'm going to let myself down now. But when I worked with Mark last week, Mark got a name, and for a medium, that's like, result. So Mark finished, and I stood up and I went, I know it's not a contest, but it's 1-0 at the moment. So... and guess what? Guess what happened?
Yeah.
Working in the energy of another medium, I've actually found, and this is something I think Gordon talked about. He always used to say, work with people that inspire you, work with people that, and I don't, this comment isn't meant to come out like this, but he used to say, always try and work with mediums that are better than you, that will lift you up to where they are.
What went wrong last Sunday then?
Well, no, I don't know. We're on that simple plane. But what I noticed years ago, I worked on a platform with a medium that I'd never worked with before for a charity do. But it was at a time when I didn't used to get a lot of names or information that was specific names, place names, or whatever. And this medium was loads of them. I was like, oh, that's really inspiring. That's really inspiring that she gets all of those. And then when I went to demonstrate, it was suddenly happening. And I wondered, very much like when we sit in circle, whether we're sharing some of that power and it's showing our energy, our awareness, the way to go.
Yeah.
So when we work with each other, I think it's inspiring rather than comparison. We're inspired by each other.
Exactly.
And if someone else gets something, you think, oh, that's really good, and have a chat to your team and say, now look, wouldn't it be lovely, like you did? Wouldn't it be lovely if we could have a name now? Wouldn't it be lovely if we could have this now?
Yeah.
And just put the thoughts out and see what happens.
Yeah.
And it brings in quite an interesting side topic here about mediums working together on platform, because it wasn't seen that much pre-2020. Since 2020, it does seem sometimes that some places are just looking for a new angle. So I'll get Fred and Rita and Susie and stick them all on the platform together, because 3 mediums have got to be better than 1. Where actually Fred and Rita hate each other, Susie doesn't give a damn, and you just end up with this almighty fusion of probably not the energies you want to demonstrate in a public arena. But when you do get that, other mediums that inspire you. And that is really true. And I've never actually thought of it in that vein, but I have to hands up. Yeah. When Jack and Lola came on the scene, I am inspired. Frederick, I am inspired. Mark, I am inspired. You know, because I have the greatest of respect for you and your fields. And I just go, this is great. Celebrate that.
I think it's part of the journey.
I
think it's part of that journey about letting go of being competitive, letting go of what other people think of you, letting go of you know, whether someone is greater or better or whatever. You know, when you talked about that idea of the different branches of spiritualism, you know, now I say I work for the spirit world, they're my boss, and I work for them and for the people here, and those who like me and want to be working with me or doing whatever. I can't be here to please everyone. I'm not going to please every other medium, every other person. You know, what's that poem? You're not everyone's cup of tea. And there is that case of saying, you know, we've got to stop worrying about the people that cause us the issue and actually start focusing on just being the person that we want to be, being the medium, the healer, the speaker that we were meant to be, and that we are already as part of who we are.
Yeah.
And also it's very important, the compassion, or to elevate the energy when 2 mediums or 3 mediums are working together. Me and Jack work a lot together. And sometimes, you know, Jack is when Jack was a bit sick and his mood was a bit low, you know, and I just pushed myself to lift the energy more than I used to, because, well, he needed that lift to get, and it went, and many times it's the other way around as well, you know. So and you know, when Jack do something very nice, placing the name with the number and telephone number and everything, just kidding, but you know, I think, oh, that's very good. That's very, very good. Oh, you're so good. You know, it's not like I want to do that. You know, now I look shit. You know, now I look bad. No, sorry. No, I knew it would come. It would come.
We always compare what someone else has. It's like as a kid, if you had curly hair, you wanted straight hair. If you had straight hair, you wanted curly.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want
already, yeah. Sorry, Jack. So we'll donate.
Have some of mine, though.
Yeah, just brush grass, it'll be fine. So we'll go off to Turkey. We'll get it all done. But you know, you look at other mediums, and there's always something that you will compare because it's what we naturally do. And so long as we don't let it go, I'll never be as good as.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never be as good as this. I can remember when we were at the college the other week, I bumped into, just briefly, Ron Jordan, who absolute wonderful trance medium, great inspiration, really loved Ron and his teaching. And I can always remember him saying one day he was sat and he was talking to his guide, and the guide said, "What do you really want?" And they said, "What do you really, really want?" And he said, "I'd love to be as good as Gordon Higginson someday." And the guide answered back, "Why only as good as? Why not better?"
Yeah.
And I thought, what an interesting statement, that even when we see something that we consider good, it can limit the potential of who and what we are.
Yeah, it's really true, because
there's no limit.
Yeah. The uniqueness of all our mediumship, and there's plenty of mediums in the room tonight. So good evening. quick hello to Elaine. Hopefully you've got over your birthday celebrations. But yeah, you know, we can't. Well, I'll rephrase that. We should never try to be that carbon copy of somebody, because we will end up denying ourselves things. And it's the same when we're demonstrating. And please tell me you all went through this, otherwise I'm just going to switch the stream off and go to bed. Okay. When you first started demming and you saw a fellow medium in the congregation, you used to think, "Oh my God, no! Oh my God, no! I can't go to them. I can't give them a message." And it's just, I think it's this phase that we need to go through to work through and find our own resolve with that. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's a fellow person, and if they need a message, they're going to get a message. Unless you go, "Oh, I can't come to you, Mark, because I know you're a medium." So, and I've just denied the other world a voice as well. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I think we have to remind ourselves, if it was us sitting in the congregation, what we all do at times, we are just a part of the congregation. We are just a human being.
Yeah.
We are just another recipient. And we should take that with us when we step up to the platform, no matter who is sitting in that congregation. They're just a possible recipient.
Yeah. And it just makes us realize how many hurdles our mind puts up. Really does. And you just get through them. I did a Zoom a little while back, and there was a fairly well-known demonstrator in there, and I thought, okay. And first message, ta-da! And I thought, okay, I'm going to go for this. And it worked beautifully. And it was a real lift to me. It just cured that and finally got rid of that. You are a person sat in front of me, and if there's the spirit world want to talk to you, they will. And there's no grief. There's no hassle. So what else have we got coming up then on this weekend? So I say the rally day itself is a Sunday. So 10:30 in the morning, 10 in the morning, everybody. And then the actual talks are going through the day. Slight change in the program. We were looking at maybe doing a meal get together on the Sunday nights. We've taken that off of the agenda because I always feel really guilty about how much work a medium is expected to do. And I did think with that, hang on, they're on from 10 in the morning and then it's going to go through to about 10 at night. And it's a little bit too much. That's a wee bit of overkill. So the Sunday night is going to be the medium's downtime. So you do get time off. It's not paid, but you do get you do get time off. With any luck, we might be invited somewhere for a nice vegetarian meal. So if you're watching tonight, you know who you are. Hi. Otherwise, we'll go somewhere else. But on the Mark, because of course you're going to be with us all weekend with your wonderful historic goods, which as you can see behind Mark, he does have the odd pack of cards.
Yeah, so we'll have some. I love it. Easter, New Agey bits and pieces, mediumship and spiritualism. Before someone starts thinking, "What on earth is he bringing with him?" Spiritual knickknacks is a nice way of putting it. So I'm going to be bringing all stuff that's sort of mediumship related. So obviously Glyn's books, CDs, some of the card packs, different bits and pieces. You know, so that people have got little bits and pieces they can have a little look at over the weekend.
We do like a shop.
There's always a bit of, what is it, retail therapy. That's
most definitely. definitely. And on the Monday, Jack and Lola, you will be giving us a wonderful workshop on healing in your mediumship. Can you expand on that a wee bit?
Oh, yes. Well, we both have a big heart within the healing as well as in the evidential mediumship. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that's when I started my own development within the mediumship, when I realized the healing that could be within it, and that power that had. One thing is the words, one thing is the evidence you're bringing forward. But when you, as a medium, can create that room where the recipient and spirit can meet within that energy, that magic moment where that healing take place, not only to the recipient, but also to the spirit world, to the communicator in all respect. And that is a fantastic moment. It's a fantastic moment to be a part of as a medium. But if we are able to, as mediums, to create that room and bring both the communicator and the loved one from spirit in that room, that can meet each other there, maybe not by words, but within that healing energy, within that love, within that compassion. And it's not about having a recipient sitting in tears or anything, but having this moment where it just is like, wow, I can feel my mom, I can feel my daughter, I can feel these moments. It's just something very unique. Something very unique. And we will do this workshop on, it will be a practical workshop combined with a bit of meditation, but a very practical workshop where we will, through practical exercises, guide everybody toward to blend in, to create that room, to create that moment where this can happen.
Where you allow it to happen.
Yeah.
When you give yourself free and time to be in the company of spirit and just, yeah, but it takes time. It does take time. And it does take, and you have to let go of all the pressure of, I have to give you a message. I have to tell you, she wore red coat and red shoes, and she was very, very, and when it's your experience as a medium, and you take your time, that's, it's very important.
And it is also where we will look at the evidential side, because it's the breaks of evidence that will create this room.
And when it's happening, it's lovely. It's very, very lovely.
Yeah. And it is quite magical when we can incorporate that into our mediumship. I had the pleasure of taking a sit-in the other day, and it was, the father was talking about his childhood, which was an explanation of his behavior in later life. And the sitter was going, oh my God, I didn't realize that.
No.
So again, that was just a wonderful example of that healing in action. Not only does the father have that, because we often neglect that thing, don't we? That the other world have healing as well as us.
Yes.
We don't take the blink and then, oh, everything's fine. We're exonerated. We've done everything. We understand it all, and off we go. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. So that was a beautiful union, because I did, this talk just came to mind when I was conducting that. I thought, this is great. I love this. I love this way of working. This is so, you feel the father going, oh, great. And the sitter was going, I get it now. I never realized that. I understand, and it's just like, well done. On the Monday evening, we have Jack's speciality. Do we not? We have an evening of experimental mediumship with everybody in attendance. So that's going to be fun. Jack, if you can tell us a bit Give us
Yes.
a clue.
Yes, it's a thing I really much enjoy doing and done for years, and I know Lola does as well. We have done it in pool before, so and we're looking forward to have you on board, Mark, as well, and Frederick and Ewan. But an evening with what we call experimental mediumship, even though it's maybe not that experimental, but it's different ways to present spirit, different ways to invite spirit in and work together with spirit, with a bit of fun in it as well for everybody. So people can bring pictures of loved ones, items from loved ones, and things like that, and that will be a part of. We might be using music as inspiration. We might have change do like 2 millions working with both with the same communicator, but also with two different communication, and then stop in the middle and just change communicator and things like that to see how it goes. It's a bit of fun. But it's also to me very evidential, and makes it a bit fun to be a medium as well. We're getting out of the routine, as we all know we can get into. We're getting out of the checklist. We're getting out of all these things, and inspire ourselves to just go beyond our mental boundaries that way as well. So yeah, we never know what happens. We never know what experiments that is coming up. We have seen new things popping up in the middle of them, and what I can't remember was last year, the year before, where we did one of them as well, where the recipients from the morning service actually became a part of the evening demonstration, and worked out perfectly. And reminds me actually when we're talking about when are you aware of spirit before you're dimming. I had this inspiration the evening before, went around to some of the people coming for the morning service, asked them to put different things on the sticky notes, put it on the chairs, and the evening demonstration asked people to pull these things out. And it turned out that the lady, these things that been written down in the morning became evidence connected to a mom of one coming in the evening, and actually came forward in that message. Your mom is telling me here that last night around 9 o'clock, when I had that inspiration, you asked your mom to come today. She was a new attendee to the church. I was like, I was like, what's going on there, because it was just a thought that came into me. So I went to Pauline in the morning. Have some sticky notes and just ask people to write random things on it, and just came out to be a very evidential thing in many ways. And that's some things that these experiments can bring forward.
Yeah.
And just if we allow ourselves to go with that flow, it's not about how amazing was the mediums and things like that. No, it's about how amazing is spirit, how intelligence is spirit, how much healing can spirit bring in that moment as well in different ways.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to experimenting, Mark?
Interesting.
Yeah, because I remember last year when you said about that one exercise. I was working with you, and you had a link and placed it, and then it was my turn to get a link, and I'm like, do you know what? And we had items there for psychometry, and we'd done the psychometry part, and I went, do you know what? I'm just compelled to pick up a piece from here and work with psychometry on it. So I was giving this reading from a piece I picked up, And then I said, who can take this? And it was the man that Jack was already working with. And I went, well, Spirit must be absolutely howling upstairs, because the whole idea we would have 2 separate links and then swap and use each other's links. But the Spirit world went, no, you don't. Just the one.
It's great fun. It's great fun.
Mm.
And also, I do like you did that last year as well, where you stand with your back to the congregation.
That's great.
And Jack is saying yes or no, not the
Sister.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we are very often accused of cold reading, but there you can't. It's just you in Spirit. Yeah, and you can't read or read the
So yeah, many exciting things are probably going to get on. And I'm sure both Mark, Lawrence, yourself, probably Roland, myself, and Ewan and Frederick will be inspired through the week. And what are we going to do?
Yeah.
When we do these experimental evenings, we have some ideas. Maybe we are asked people to bring things in, but we never know what's happening.
Yeah. And this will be the first time that you've met Frederick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because you've done a lot of work together, and obviously the common link here at Paul Church, but you've never actually met.
No.
But I know you both like real coffee, and we're not going down that route.
We all three like real coffee.
Down the road, loads of coffee shops, fill your boots, off you go. Starbucks, you name it, they're all down there. Go on, shoot. I'm not going down that route again.
No. Are you getting that coffee machine?
Oh yeah, I actually have a Mugger Master we are not using here. We can bring that.
No, you still got a coffee machine that you won up at the college last year. That's where you left it, actually.
No.
Yeah.
The same
So 2 weeks from now, we will be in the throes of it, and I really can't wait, because it's just such fun, and it's that thing that really resonates with my soul. So bring it on. I won't be saying that Sunday night. I'm going, for God's sake, I can't be doing with this anymore. But no, it will be an absolutely wonderful time. And I think it's something that we need to look at bringing back, these get-togethers. Not just for a DEM or just for a divine service or just for an MBS, but actually really sort of like engaging with each other, because that is the essence, especially on the Sunday, where people can interact with each speaker with Q&As. And it just works. It just works. It's just such fun, and really does serve a purpose. I know that the previous years, people have gone out and their minds have been going, oh, that's really interesting. Or even, I couldn't go along with that. That's fine. That's great. I always say, if you can't go along with the theory, it's wonderful. It shows you have your own theory. So, explore that. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Denmark, nil point. And thank you, Mark, for finding the time in your very busy schedule. As I say, 2 weeks from today, so the rally itself, the divine service, they will be streamed live. So anybody watching tonight or in the future, yes, you can watch them live, or yes, you can catch them on our catch-up things. But the whole essence of the weekend is to bring people together.
Yeah.
And as I said, when I found out there's a couple coming down from the Outer Hebrides, I'm just like, oh, okay. This is bringing people together. This is working. So yeah, it is. It's just beautiful. So thank you everybody out there for joining in tonight. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Belinda. How are you, darling? Hope you're well. Do miss you. You're fun. I like fun people. So any final words, Mark?
Yeah, just if you can come and down for whatever you can on the weekend, it'll be wonderful. Particularly that Sunday. You know, if you've got people that have expressed an interest in spiritualism, in mediumship, in healing, just bring them along. You know, that one day in particular, starting with the divine service, then the talks. You know, as you said, Lawrence, people go away going, wow, that's opened my mind to so many different things. And for me, you know, it's about sharing. Everything's about sharing the knowledge that we have and the experiences that we have. So, you know, it's going to be a great weekend. Everything is going to be fascinating and exciting and enjoyable. But particularly, you know, Sunday with all those talks, it's going to be fabulous.
Definitely. Any final words from Denmark?
Yes. Please come and be inspired, and let us be inspired as well. And let's just be together in this. You know, it's as a fairly newbie in spiritualism. I really looking forward to it. Really to just the knowledge and learn more, be inspired, and together. Yeah.
Jack's looking very stern there.
As long as it's and you all have said already, just come and join in, and I'm sure because will be free speakers out from outside UK, so it will probably be a slightly different approach to spiritualism than you have been used to. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it to stir in the pot. So yeah.
Oh, good. How wonderful. As long as Lola doesn't talk about the shed in the garden, that'll be great. Sometimes the language and the pronunciation, and we all wondered what this was in the garden because it didn't sound very nice.
I'm still wondering.
Are we all shed? It was a very, very bemused congregation that day. Anyway, thank you. Can't wait. 2 weeks a day. Brilliant. Thank you, everybody watching us tonight, joining in. Thank you so much. If you're watching in the future, welcome and enjoy the evening. But in the meantime, it's good night from us, and have a wonderful, blessed evening, and enjoy whatever you're doing. Just enjoy it. That's why we're here. We're not